Hello, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday Live. We are magnet marketers. Our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And today you're in for a treat. We're talking about 20 ways that you can get ahead of 2020. Yes, we're talking about 2020. I feel like this year's flying by. School's back in session. People are somewhat done, I think, with the vacation mindset. Now is the perfect time to start planning before you get into that holiday season where it becomes even more busy. So we're going to dive into 20 ideas now that you can do today to start amping up your ROI, your sales, and most importantly, getting ahead of next year. Before we dive in, just a quick introduction to myself and my awesome co-host. My name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. I'm my awesome co-host. He's Mike Gingerich. This way, I always point the wrong way. This way. Mike Gingerich. Yeah. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular apps Waftio, a Tabsite, and a published author extraordinaire. We talked about his authorship journey last week, if you missed it on the show, talking about self-publishing. So how's it going, Mike? How have you been?
Hey, doing well, and excited about this one. I mean, when you think about it, really, like you said, kind of post-holiday season. So, I mean, you really got 10, 11 real weeks before you're going to hit Thanksgiving stuff. And so that's when it spirals out for the year kind of thing. So this is the block of time to think about it, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And it's going to be here before you know it. There's already like fall stuff out and everything. I'm like, man, I'm still thinking about summer. I want to keep it here for a while longer. But anywho, we still have to focus on our marketing, and we bringing to you, I should say, 20 ideas to help you with that, some things to consider. I'd love to hear, if you're joining in with us, where you are tuning in from, if you're watching the replays, where you're watching from, as well as letting us know about some of the things that you are working on this year and some of the goals that you have for 2020 as we dive in. So, Mike, it was hard. Honestly, it was like 20 ideas. Can I do this to tie it into the 2020 theme? And I kept going. So some of this, we'll see how far we get and how much we will want to even share in the notes afterward to get down through this list, because it was long and I'm excited for it.
And not to mention that some of these points have A, B, C, and D's, which could have been, their own points as well.
That's what I did to try to expand it on. And really, this is what it started from. Okay, so I've talked about this for a while, and 2020 coming. So I know, Mike, you've been privileged and you've been at all of the social media week Limas, majority of them that we've had, really where we started inviting people outside the community. And one of our very first social media week Limas, where we had it at the Howard Johnson at that time that you spoke at, we talked about the theme 2020. And the whole concept was, and this was 6 years ago, the whole concept was based upon the study done by Walker, and Adobe was part of it, Amazon, Coca-Cola, major retailers were a part of the study on this consumer mindset shift, and how in 2020, it's going to be pivotal that so many brands are like, oh my God, how am I going to get customers in today's age? Because the mindset of customer behavior has shifted so much that we've been talking about it for a while, talking about relationship marketing, talking about being a magnet versus a bullhorn. And really now, though, as we get into this year where they're saying, okay, now it's going to be a big drastic shift, what kinds of things can you do today and moving forward that's really going to be a part of this experience era? So in short, what their survey broke down is that experience is going to be the number one deciding factor if somebody's choosing one company over another. And they're basing that experience on word of mouth, what others have said, as well as, your speed, ease of doing business with you, and like accessibility, relatability, the story that they can connect with. So those are all things part of that experience. So how do you translate that before somebody knows you, or maybe if they are working with you, to keep them on to want to refer you on? So each of these bullet items are all tied around the theme of what's going to be working in 2020 with that in mind.
Yeah, no, I think that, looking back, that 6 years trying to project out, and then, to think about some of the things we talked about and things about, where we're at, and just that speed of change, the speed of acceleration, but experience, just what someone's experience with your company is. Just because people can find something anywhere, I mean, and so and it's brand you. That's that experience differentiator. So looking forward to diving into this.
Yeah, exactly. And you hit it's you, it's the brand. So the very first thing that you can do as we're talking about what your customers are thinking about you and their experience is do a one-to-one with your customer or set of customers. This is something that's so accessible at times, but so often overlooked. We're trying to plan in our mind and say, what do our customers want? We're talking about it in meetings and everything else. And we forget to include the person that really is making the decision, your customer. So what if you set up a time to actually interview a customer or a set of customers, just a series of questions like, what are you watching right now? Where are you finding your information? Think about it as persona kind of development, but you're really digging into the things that they love watching, reading, connecting to online, what they like about your company, what things you're doing really well, what kinds of things that they wish maybe you could add to your line of services, or what kinds of questions that they have, where their sticking points are, and really just take some time to meet one-on-one as a discovery with them. Take them out to lunch, or you can do this as a interview over the phone or over a video chat time, and just talk to one of your ideal customers. This is something that is so often overlooked, and it is eye-opening. Every client that has allowed us to do this for them, we've done it even for some of our clients. So that might be something that you do if you're like, I don't have time, or I'm not sure what to ask. Maybe talk to your marketing partner or somebody on your team and have them ask some of the questions for you. But this has been eye-opening as we've crafted a website for clients. We would have never thought of some of the things that their clients are telling us point blank. This is what we want, and this is what we don't want, what turns us off. And it has really helped the website performance, the social media, online marketing, and overall the company as a whole.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think, and again, that's sharpening the persona again. Mm-hmm. that shifts. I mean, just because social media networks shift, and so the way people use the digital things shift, and so that's why it's important to take a look at that and make sure you're staying current with that piece. Yeah. Are you ready for me to dive into number 2?
Let's do it.
Okay. Number 2 is just go ahead and Google your brand on Google. Okay. Do that, and then focus on checking out, updating your Google My Business profile, just because this continues to evolve, continues to enhance. And, our first point with this is that one of these things has changed, and that is, do you have a mobile number on your Google My Business profile? Why? Because people want to text you. Okay. That wasn't so 6 years ago, that type of thing. I mean, it's just grown. And so people are more comfortable even doing that with a brand, with a business. And so to have a mobile number on there to allow text messaging, again, you're making it easy for someone. And again, Google continues to refine results and show, more of this, the Google My Business profile and those types of pieces. So that's a key. They've expanded now. You can, and maybe you want to talk about that second one, add a post for a month, see the results.
Yeah, and actually just one thing on the phone number, don't worry, it's not going to show your cell phone number. You just set it up in Google My Business, go to business.google.com, and you put in to allow text messaging. And so all the client sees is message into the brand, and it will send to the phone number, the cell phone number, mobile number that you select on there. Or if you have like a Google phone number set up where it's like multiple people redirects at certain points in time, you can definitely do that. You get the text in, and you can respond back to your client just like you would a normal text message, but they just see the company name. They don't see your cell phone number. So you don't have to worry about that and getting random texts or calls or anything like that.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to copy that, strip it out, and get spam robocalls all the time.
Exactly. But yeah, as you mentioned, Mike, Google My Business has expanded where you can add your services in now, expansion of the service descriptions, the pricing, essentially like your Google My Business is almost like a mini website for you. Google wants it quick and easily accessible. And if you think about local search results, I mean, that is what shows up 99.9% of the time in local search results for service-based businesses and retail locations. So depending on your industry and location, that Google My Business is going to show up. That's their first potential interaction with your business. So I always encourage people to go there and just refine what's there. Use the expanded descriptions, put your keywords in there. Google allows you to put the keywords in there. Photos, videos, just expand that section when you're Googling yourself to see what shows up. And that's really that first point of experience that somebody may have with your company.
Yeah. First point. It's really come up there. So particularly for local. Yeah.
The other piece of Googling yourself is really that search engine optimization. So even if so this is point 3, a third idea for you, is just type in what your customer, and you can learn that when you do step 1. These will kind of go in order here. You'll see how these tie together. But Google what your customer may be searching for you online. I'll give you a prime example. We were with Mr. Manhole. We were typing in jackhammer a lot of the time for people doing research on roadwork repair. And I had no idea there was a thing called an air hammer, I think is what the name of it is. It's another way of saying it. And I would never have thought of that. So we started focusing on that keyword instead and some of the things we were doing, and it made a big difference. So looking at the other keywords that are there, as well as sites that are ranking well, what they are potentially using. And there's a couple tools to really help you do this. And many of them have a free trial or a free plan that you can use. And then their paid plans like only $35. My favorite's SpyFu. I love that. Have you ever used that, Mike?
I have, yes. Yep, yeah. Absolutely.
So I will put these in the comments here, but SpyFu will essentially allow you to search any website that is a perceived competitor or aligned with a service that you're trying to rank for. You put your website in and their website, and it's kind of cute. It says battle, and it'll show you how you're ranking versus them, as well as what are their primary keywords, where they're getting their traffic from, like what's linked to them, how much they're spending on ad dollars, what they're at, and this is for the paid portion of that. So if you spend the $35, you can see all of the ads they ran and what the success rate was on those ads and what companies are linking to them, what their most popular article and inbound links are. It's crazy. You could spend a lot of time there. I had just encouraged you to go in there with a mission in mind so you don't get kind of sucked into this. And the most important thing is taking action on what you do find. So looking at your search engine optimization is a really big piece of this, and to know then what you need to do on your website, which I skipped that one, sorry. But
no, I think that again, SEO is that so if somebody types in your name, and are you coming up on Google Local, and again, are you coming up for those keywords that people are searching for? I had the similar experience with a client as well, where the client themselves like to call what they built called a post frame building, right? But lo and behold, doing keyword research, the potential customer was calling it a pole barn. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and so very, very important that you're speaking the language of your would-be customer in that regard there. So coming back to the website then, taking a look at your website and again evaluating it. So when was the last time it's updated? What's the user experience like? And going through, you can do an audit on that. I think Jessica's got a link we can post in there about the being able to do an audit on your website. So a number of items to take a look at. Another tool, we like these tools, and one of these is called Hotjar, and the Hotjar really is kind of like that visual heat map. So where people are clicking, where they're spending time, that type of piece, so you can tell right away what's working, what's not, what you think might be working that's not working, those type of pieces. Are they going to that call out, that call to action that you thought was so wonderful there, or are they not? That will help you with that. You can do Google Analytics, and you can have a click map percentage on Google Analytics as well. So what areas people are clicking on out of all the clicks on the website, what's their next step on those types of pieces, and again, that will help you because again, we come back to someone's experience with your brand is going to determine whether they stay or go. And your website is a key piece of that, whether they stay or go. With your website, and I think, man, did we get this on the list there? But is it time for chat on your website? Those types of things.
Yep.
And so that's a key piece. You have to make some of these determinations based on how people, what tools they want to use, what's comfortable to them.
Absolutely. This is your home base. This is your digital storefront. And so many decisions, if they've got to your website, that is the stopping ground of where they're making a decision typically at that point, right? So of course you're going to have blogs and other things that are kind of, guiding them along and building that trust. But that website is your chance, and you want to make it craveable. You want to give them a reason to come back. So what is on your website that's going to give them a reason to want to come back to it and want to potentially, hopefully, share it on? So is there resources on there that are helpful to them? Is there, the chat field where they know they can get their questions answered? Depending on your industry, is there something fun that they can do and engage with another community? Is there edutainment, type content on there that's entertaining and helpful? Is there video copy, things like that? Think of those things on your website. But really, if you have not updated your website in 5 years, chances are it is not great for 2020. Okay. So there's so much that has changed in what customers and clients and just overall user experiences, what clients expect, what they want to have on a website. I mean, if you think about the top most visited sites like Amazon and some of the others, like, people expect this speed, really super easy to find information, get it and go. And they want that right now. So think about that when you look at your website. Don't make it hard for somebody to get in and get out. So just take a general overall audit of it. I did put a couple links in there on some things that can help you. As Mike said, that Hotjar link is super helpful. You can get a 30-day free trial on this as well to get some heat map rankings. And they have this plugin that'll allow you to literally put some comments or allow your customers to answer comments on your website. So, how did you find this website? Was it helpful? What would you like us to change? And you would be surprised how many people respond back to that and give you suggestions. So something to just consider and try out for at least, 30 days and go from there. The other part with the findability on your website with Google, we talked about using SpyFu, which I'll put that link in here, .com to find out what people are using, and other people love SEMrush, but also look at Google Trends. So what's trending now and going to continue trending in the future. And there's a free tool on Google to see what those trends could be. So like you mentioned, pool barns might be, a new way of saying something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, kind of related to this, in the online world, what else comes up in search results when you typically search for something locally, and oftentimes you will find reviews, and so it could be Yelp, TripAdvisor. I mean, there's multiple pieces on that, and again, your Google, that people are leaving reviews on your Google local business page there, and even on the Facebook page, those types of things. So can you be proactive in having some type of routine, some type of follow-up, that when you've finished a phase or a next step with a customer, that you have something that invites them, makes it easy for them to give it a review, and to because there's always perhaps that person that will go do that on their own. But they're typically, we're busy, so that's a smaller percentage. And so helping people think through that, encouraging them while it's warm, while it's fresh, while it's live recently, can help you get more of those. And those pieces really matter, again, because that's articulating someone else's experience with you. And so people are checking those out. And you have a tool, you want to talk about Yext a little bit, and the way that can help with that.
Yeah. Yext will help you kind of aggregate those reviews that are on local listings, so you're making sure that you're responding to them. There's also like SEO Moz, or Moz Local, excuse me, that will do this as well, but we use Yext. But as Mike said, the most important piece of this is getting proactive, asking for them. So writing out your process internally, whether that's, an online sales process if you're e-commerce, or if you are someone where somebody's dealing with you, over the phone or in person, that you're asking for the reviews. I am horrible about this. I will full on admit I am really bad at asking for reviews. And so I'm trying to get better in this habit, because I'm preaching this to clients. Like, it's so important. And so what I've started using as a trigger for me to remember, besides having that as a follow-up, a survey follow-up with clients after we've done website projects or whatever with them, is when somebody's mentioning something to me or telling me something that I did well, or something they were super pleased with, using that as a trigger to say, thank you, like, would you mind putting this, and then giving them the spot. Because most people, as you said, Mike, like, don't necessarily think about doing that, but they would, because they're telling you it. And that's a prime opportunity. If you're uncomfortable kind of asking for it, if somebody's already verbally telling you that, then follow up with, that link, or that ask at that point. I had a news anchor yesterday in my hometown that I would have never thought of giving a review, even though I love her and what she does. But all she did is just send me a quick Facebook message, and I'm like, of course I will, and did it. And she did this to a few friends and had, tons of reviews at the end of that evening. So it's something that you can do that does make a huge difference, because people are relying on word of mouth per their peers as well, which means, they're looking online to see what others are saying. So definitely make it a part of your process, because it's only going to become more and more important in 2020.
Yes, absolutely. Those things just keep coming.
Yeah.
All right. 10 by 10 rule for the blog posts.
Yeah, so I will go to that one next. So 10 by 10 rule. I have to credit the beautiful and talented Stephanie Liu for this. I love her concept with this. We've always worked with clients on asking them, what's your most frequently asked questions, and writing that down for blogs. But her 10 by 10 rule, and this is helping you get ahead of your content planning for next year, and helping you really lay that out, because if you have a plan, then it gets done, right? So her 10 by 10 rule is thinking of the top 10 questions you're most often asked, and writing those down, and also the 10 questions you wished you were asked, but you're not the expert at that thing. So now you have 20 blog ideas, potential blog ideas, or video ideas, or however you're producing content, to then map out for your plan for 2020. And we use like Trello to kind of map this out, whatever tool you're using to say, okay, this one goes first, second, third. We also, sometimes you may think of questions that maybe you've already answered on a blog, or you're looking back at blogs and seeing which ones performed well. And it could be one that you're just re-answering, or doing a second phase to, but use that to quickly come up with some blog ideas that are most likely going to get traction if you're already being asked that, or your team members already being asked that most often. That's really going to help lay that kind of what I call, foundation content that's going to be evergreen to keep driving people back into your site.
Excellent, excellent. I like that one. And you say we can reference Stephanie's information on that?
Yeah, I've just heard her mention this.
Okay.
I'm sure she's got a blog on it, I'm sure, or a video, or both. But this was her idea of how to come up with it, and I love it, because it's been super helpful for clients to then get, okay, that's how easy I can come up with blog ideas.
Yep. All right. So I think we are at number 7, but this is one, an oldie, but a goodie, and it's still relevant. Grow your email list. All right. Grow your email list. It has not gone away, right, folks? I mean, you still check your email. You check your email. How many times a day do you already check your email? How many times in the last hour do you check your email? We check our email, and so you want to be growing that email list. I've read the stat that it's like 70% of people that first time come to a website, they're making a decision right then, and they are not coming back to that website. But if you need a way to stay in touch with them, and some type of call to action pop up, something that's going to work. So take a look at what are the options that'll work on that, but that helps you get them onto an email list and grow them so you can stay connected to them, is going to be very important. And there's multiple ways to do this with a pop-up, with a call to action and the blog post at the beginning of blog posts, having a dedicated page to this as well on the site, that type of thing. So growing your email list continues to be a priority and is a valuable tool for you as you head and look ahead to 2020.
Absolutely. It was spot on. And like you said, the pop-up, I was surprised how well that performs on our website, but 2020, you really need to know that email is going to be powerful still and continues to be powerful because people are going to smaller and smaller communities to communicate. We talked about this on the page before. So you really need to know, how can I still be directly connected with my clients, potential clients, and email's the way to go with that. So there's free tools that HubSpot provides for pop-up. Waftio has an awesome tool for pop-up as well on your website and landing page. The landing page piece is so important. I've seen people have, the sign up at the footer of their, the bottom part of their website or on the top of their blog. But if you want to share this out on social or share the link with someone to sign up for your email, it's kind of like hidden in that page. So having a dedicated page for it is super important. So you do have a link to then invite someone to. So when they're asking you a question, you're getting it in from a client. How I use this to kind of grow the email is saying, yeah, we wrote a blog on it. Here's a link, actually, if you wouldn't mind. We're sharing these answers all the time on our website. If you'd like, I can sign you up for our training emails if that's something of interest to you, and then sending a direct link to them. So it's a great way to continue growing it, as well as putting it in, other spots online that make sense, maybe in the bottom of your emails that you're directly sending to them. So
yeah, it's one that people can often overlook or things like that and say, well, is email getting that? I mean, they're hidden or whatever, but I know. I mean, we got guys like Ross Brand here today, and so they want to talk about StreamYard, and they're doing great with those types of pieces. But even Ross looks at email and all his leading edge things. Ross looks at emails, and so that's just an example. We all use it. It's an underlying tool that are part of everybody's repertoire on a daily basis, and no matter what industry you're in. And so don't negate the email.
Amen to that. And here's a way to get more email signups that'll tie into that, is creating some kind of download or offer that you could give to your audience. So some kind of piece of helpful content that could be gated in the sense of their exchange their name and email address for this piece of content. And my rule of thumb when I talk about this kind of inbound process is that make it so good that somebody would be willing to pay for it. Okay, if they're willing to, give you $1, whatever, it doesn't have to be a lot, but something of value, right? That they're signing their name and email address up for. And you can create an offer easy. Some people, they're like, oh, I don't have time to design it and make this big old thing. I'm going to give you a cool tool that you can use to plan this out. And as you're creating your blog post ideas, you could think of how to tie 3 of these in maybe together to make an ebook that's super easy for your brand. And you can use this tool called Designer that we use to literally, you can put your audio file in there and it will transcribe it for you. You can put your blog post in there, and I'm not exaggerating. It'll create an ebook for you in less than 5 minutes. You literally plug and play your link and it grabs it, put a video in there, put all kinds of any piece of content in there, and it will design an ebook for you. You can pick your layout. You can make some changes. It's like Canva for ebooks, basically.
Yes, and that's a Designer with 2 R's at the end.
Yeah. Love that tool.
We'll be dropping that one in there. And yeah, okay. So Google Ads, okay? So do one Google ad, use an ads coupon and promote your new offer. So again, what's the #1 search engine? Google. What's the percentage? It's still close to 68%, 70%, depending on the month of people. That's what they use to do a search on. And yes, so an ad can be effective and be helpful to get you up there, seen, and to promote some type, something new that's out there.
I'm telling you, now that everybody's like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, I'm like, go Google, because it's crazy how many new Google ad tools that are out there. Now, I am a huge fan of earned attention. I am not a big fan of buying and paying for a ton of ads. However, when there's a good offer out there and it's something that people are wanting, like I said, they'd be willing to pay for it, try promoting it and speeding up that process for something that they're already looking for. So something they're already searching for. We already know our keywords, right? We already know what they're searching for. Our audience, we've already interviewed them, so we know what they're wanting. Now we've created a really cool offer and some supporting content to go with it to drive it in. Now you can promote it out using Google. You can sign up online and look for Google coupon. Google will send you a matching, usually $50 to $100 for Google ads. And it goes a long way when you target it right. So just test it out and kickstart your 2020 with throwing up an ad targeted to people that are already searching for something that you're offering. So.
Oh, love that one. I think that's a great idea. Very important to take a look at there. Yeah, so this is one that is that I see a lot of people outside of the social media, digital marketing industry, they're less familiar with. So I think that it's something that we do a lot of, and we see success with that within the industry, and that is join some type of collaboration, some type of sharing group where you basically want to support each other. So someone writes a great blog post, and they can talk about it there, give everybody a little bit of a snippet of that, and say, here it is. I'd appreciate if you guys can want to share this out if it's a piece of value. So you're sharing a piece of valuable resource content on your social networks, and so together you can drive some traffic, some interest over there to that one, and then there's that reciprocal nature of that. So when it's your turn and you have that great post to do and you get that out there, they can support you in that. So collaboration, group sharing type pieces.
Yeah. Yes, and tying into that is just knowing your accelerators. I call them accelerators because think of the top 3 people. Even if you only have 3, just think of the top 3 people that really align with your brand that you can always count on, that are just complementary to you. You guys, have the same kind of tone and vibe and are serving the same community. Know your accelerators. So know those individuals and think of ways that you can even just work with them directly, as well as 3 maybe your goals of people that you want to work with in 2020. So think of think big. I want to work with Rachel Hollis or something, right? And know those 3 goal people that you would love to collaborate with on some level. And that can go into your content planning, but then also, Mike, perfect, description of collab groups. That is also huge. Something really easy that you can do where you guys are bouncing ideas off each other and sharing out each other's content. And as you mentioned, that's been great for us as well, because we're all looking for copy to share anyway, sometimes that is serving our audience. And if you're careful and strategic about who you put in a collab group together, it supports everyone at the end of the day and the audience. So.
Yes. Yep. The next one down is a simple one. It's one that we always talk about, and it's one that we feel is critical and vital, and that is build some relationships. So perhaps it's your business's turn to look at some type of user group, a Facebook group, a resource center on your website. Again, build relationships in person, attending events, going to chamber things, whatever that's going to be. Building relationships via messenger or email or those types of pieces. But how are you cultivating relationships? And LinkedIn, those types of things. How are you recognizing people for themselves as individuals and just staying in touch with them along the way, and building rapport, building trust over time?
Absolutely. One-to-one relationship building. Don't think masses, but like we've been talking with many of the other things here, this is one-to-one. So spending some dedicated time building relationships. And we're only halfway through the list. I know this sounds like a lot already, and you're like, oh my God, I'm already busy with my time, right? Like, I don't know how I'm going to get to all this. We're going to break this down too on how you can, find the time for this and make the time for it. But really, if you just think of 5 hours that you could dedicate a week, or 3 hours, whatever, that you could dedicate a week, and just block it out ahead of time, this will really, really, really make a huge impact in your business. Because how often do we get so busy running the business that we're not, or working in the business that we're not actually running it? So, taking some time to look at where you're spending your time. I'm actually going to jump down here to this one since we're talking about it now, but look at opportunities of where you can save time as well. Like, where are you spending your time currently? What apps do you maybe have that aren't really working for you? What tools have you been using that aren't, or need to be using that you haven't been? And really evaluate where you can save time so you do have time to kind of work on these goals, right? And then block out the time to work on them and make that a priority for 2020. So this is dedicated, uninterrupted time that's crucial, that you're really working on your goals. So I'm going to put the save time in there. Just evaluate the tools that you're currently using, write them out, because sometimes we sign up for things and then just don't use them for a while,
Right.
and see which ones also that could be smart for you to add on. So
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. One that you're probably heard us say before, and one that we want to say again, is it's going to be time to maybe do a social media audit. All right. So take a look at your Facebook page, Twitter account, YouTube channel, and take a look at when was the last time you updated your cover image? Should you use cover video image now? That type of piece there, and think through what you need to do to be engaging, active, and have a good and powerful presence on the platforms where your clients are spending, the prospective clients are spending the most time. And then think through ways that you can engage them. So taking some time to look at not just rushing through some pieces, but some engaging posts to use on different networks.
Yeah, and I've seen this more and more. So not as much link sharing, right? So writing these out ahead of time, just your own thoughts, not like an inspirational quote or whatever. Those can be fine sometimes, but your own thoughts on your brand or something aligned with what you believe, and then scheduling them out, because those don't happen a lot. It's usually something that we're sitting down in the moment and doing. But if you can take some time and do it ahead of time and think of your brand message and how you could make it into tweetables, is what I call them, write those out ahead of time and have those ready to go. And then look at like even some social media holidays that could be fun ahead of time. I call them social media holidays because they're just fun, quirky holidays. Like yesterday was National Dog Day, I believe, right? So like, how could that be related or integrated into your brand social to make it more craveable and fun? If you know about it ahead of time and you're looking ahead of schedule, then you have time to do something that's more fun and innovative and creative that would get your audience excited. Like we were looking at social media day, right? Like months ahead of time. And, different clients do different things, but look at the social media calendar. I will put one in here that we use that HubSpot has. It's amazing that you can sign up and then get the holidays each month. And then you can look ahead and see, which ones are going to be related or aligned with your brand that you could add in and add some flavor. Now, don't go crazy with it. The National Dog Day probably wouldn't have made sense on some person's page, but on just see if it aligns with your brand and you can make it more craveable that way.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's take it over to LinkedIn. Okay, when was the last time that you stopped and took a look at your LinkedIn profile, company profile, those types of things? What's new that needs to be added? LinkedIn's been on the move. They've been doing some good things. The algorithm is working well. It's rewarding those who put out some engaging content. And what do you need to add? What do you need to sharpen with your LinkedIn? And just being aware of ways that how LinkedIn gives you notifications of somebody's achievements, somebody's anniversary, somebody's birthday, those types of things. It gives you a point of reference to check in. Are you doing that? Are you using the platform in quick and easy ways?
Yeah, it'll definitely help you build relationships with giving someone else a recommendation too. Maybe some people that you've worked with or some clients that you've worked with, putting that in there. And as Mike mentioned, like LinkedIn's growing and more and more people are talking about kind of going in on that platform because it's a great one for business to business especially, but even more so just connecting with other professionals and others like you online, and using LinkedIn to update it for all the new things maybe that you've achieved as well. So like if you're into speaking, you're putting that as one of your listed accomplishments there, and linking maybe to your slide deck or the video, or testimonial videos from something that you completed, adding that in there on your own personal page, but then also looking at your company page. So is there any new team members that you need to kind of highlight on there? Is there admins that you need to put on? Is the company information still accurate? But LinkedIn is one of those that are super important, almost as important as your Google My Business, to definitely have there to really stand out.
Yes, and so I think that was somewhere around number 13-ish in its list as we head on down the pike here. And so finding ways, number 14, finding ways that you can personalize. How can you personalize? And I want to start off with some tweet messages. So, thanks for following, but that type of thing with a short video. Chris Strub has done those tremendously well. I know you've done those as well, Jessica. You do voice recordings in Messenger, some of those pieces. So voice messages for a week, those customized cards and video emails. You have that tool for that piece. Find ways to get your company involved with that, so that becomes a part of what they all do.
Yeah, personalize. Like, just try sending voice messages for a week to people, telling them thank you for something, even if it's just text messaging, if it's off social, but just try it, and see what a difference it makes. I guarantee you people will be, raving about it back to you after, and building that relationship faster. Getting your team involved, looking at ways that you can celebrate them with their birthday, highlighting them for some achievements, getting them to maybe do takeovers, but definitely the more personalized and real-time, real people doing real things, happenings on social is really going to move the needle a lot more than just sharing a link all the time, especially as stories evolve and more people are spending time on those networks where stories and things like that are connected. You want to get your team involved. So I'll hurry with the next one here, but speaking of that, real people doing real things in real time, number 15 point is spend a day taking some photos, or get somebody to take photos for you. Like, gone are the days of stock photos. So use more photos from your people, your team, your business. So spend a day taking photos, or even if you go somewhere and snap some shots. Like, I know every time we go to Social Media Marketing World, I'm trying to get as many beautiful background photos as I can there. So spend some time taking more photos that you can integrate into your marketing that are yours, custom, to you, and personalized to your brand.
Yes, absolutely. And a step close to that maybe you haven't done is make GIFs for your brand. Okay, so that's the animated GIF. That's that little piece. And there's simple tools to do this now that can take and convert a little a quick video clip into a GIF. Those types of pieces there. But make GIFs for your brand find a way to show some of that visual interest and show some of who you are, and hopefully just some of the fun that you can be.
Yeah, people just love seeing that. So much more entertaining than just like a thank you comment, right? Or something, and super fun. We had a client that started doing this with birthday messages, birthday emails back to their clients, and it was their whole team, doing a birthday jingle, and then had a link to a coupon for them to get free lunch. So it was kind of hitting a lot of these at the same time, and people love that. So definitely. The next one with this is somewhat aligned as well, but video. Like, think, when's the last time you updated your testimonials? Kind of, do you have a new who we are? What kind of videos could you create or have on your YouTube channel, another big search engine, that you should have in place for 2020? So look at your videos, things that you can even create, like a quick screen share video. It's built in, to your desktop, potentially, if you have like a Mac. They have QuickTime, where you can create short little screen share videos, depending on your industry, of course, which is going to be relevant for you. Or you can create them using like a tool like Wave.video, which is amazing. They have a free plan. You can upload your own videos and, start editing them there. Some of the photos that you've taken when you spent that day taking photos, you can turn it into videos. You can take some of the short little, maybe recorded some on your cell phone and upload it there and make some videos for more social posts that way that'll stand out.
Yes, videos was 17, 18. Answer one question relevant to your brand. So, what are the questions that people are asking, and how can you tackle them to do that kind of one-to-many? Well, maybe it's one option to do that is in a blog post, for example. But how can you answer that? Go ahead.
Yeah, so the point with this one is like those answer sites. So like Quora and some of the others where people are asking questions, those are becoming more higher and higher ranks because people want answers to questions. So look at different forums that are already existing online and just answer. Focus on answering one question across the web that you really want to rank for, and that's really going to help drive traffic back to your website.
Right. Reddit would be another one of those kind of pieces there.
Huge.
Quora, what you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way. Okay, and then finally, as we're narrowing this down, then take a little bit of time and map out what are the important dates and ideas for the calendar 2020. All right, so thinking through that piece. What are the holidays that you want to make sure you do hit on social media? What are the other key days we just kind of mentioned? National Dog Day. Those types of pieces. What are the ones that can be fun, can be helpful, can be relevant? That you want to get in the calendar, and then identifying those so you can work ahead, so that it doesn't just like, oh my gosh, I missed that one already. But now take a time to do that.
Yeah, even campaigns. So like you're like, the beginning of this year, we're going to focus on this thing, and then scheduling out what you want to focus on throughout the year will drastically help you make it a more successful campaign versus just kind of thinking daily, right? So just taking some time to plan out your calendar, your marketing calendar ahead of time will change the game for you, and really get your team involved with it that way. And we already shared about how to save time with evaluating some of your tools. The next one is, do a training to enhance your skills. So this is really going to get you ahead. So like we have our team kind of getting into some of the chatbot trainings, right? Things like that. But look at one skill that you could enhance on your own and look for some videos and tools to help you do that, so it can help you accelerate what you're doing online for your brand.
Yes, indeed. All right. So that's a quick wrap. This is going to be a tremendous blog post, when it comes out with all these details on it. But again, we don't want you to be overwhelmed. We wanted you to hear some of those key things. We want you to be able to, it's all going to be in the blog post, but we wanted you to be able to think through these pieces, and hopefully some of those resonate with you. You need to do that. Jot those down. You can order this post, and stay in touch with it.
And because 20 wasn't enough, I did have a little offer here for everyone. 20 ways to stand out on social media specifically as well, that, giving you some more tips there that you can snag at bit.ly/my2020. So you can get that right there, and that'll be just quick print off that you can grab for some more ideas that way. But yes, we will recap this with a blog. So if you want all these nuggets that we shared here in the comments in a printable format, I'm going to take it and put it into a blog, and then I'm going to use my designer app and make this into a download for all of you. So if you want that piece, just comment here, I want it, and we will make sure that we send you the link, message it to you, just like we did with the Google Analytics one about a month and a half ago, I think it was. So we can breathe now, Mike. We got through 20 in like 50 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hopefully that's helpful, folks, and you can see some value in that. Again, that's always the goal as magnet marketers, to be a magnet to your marketing, not a bullhorn. And so we kind of go through these topics to offer some value to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let us know if you do have questions or some ideas that you have to rock out your 2020 and getting ahead of 2020 in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And until then, we will see you next week, though. Same time, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
See you later. Take care, folks.